Okay, let's go.
Well, hello there, Chick Chatters. We have Love is Blind episode 5, and they're just taking off right where they left off. Chelsea's walking into a pod. You see that she walks into Jimmy's pod after teasing that it might be Trevor's pod because he says hello and nobody is there.
My heart sank when I saw who she was talking to. I'm not going to lie.
Yep, it was exactly as Trevor predicted it. Chelsea gets proposed to by Jimmy and falls to the floor and says 1,000% yes. And Jimmy screams, "Let's go," like everyone before him.
Where are they going?
We don't know. If you guys have figured it out, let us know.
When she fell to the floor, I wondered, is it maybe a no?
I think she was conflicted, but she knew she had beat out that other girl, so it's a yes.
1,000% yes for beating Jessica.
Who knows? That's the only thing I can think of because I really didn't see them connect that great. Anyways, once Jimmy leaves, Chelsea gets serious because she's about to go walk into Trevor's tunnel room and break the news to him.
I'm so sad for him.
At the end of Jimmy's whole date with her, she started getting serious. Her face started being less smiley. She's like, crap, now I gotta tell this guy. And I felt horrible.
I'm devastated. I really needed Trevor to just have a win.
So she walks into Trevor's pod and she starts giving her little speech saying he's a phenomenal person. And he's visibly sitting there wondering where this is going, where this conversation's going. Are they going bad? Or is she just building up suspense? He thinks that maybe the show has her probably building up some type of suspense for him.
Literally can't even, he's in disbelief. He's still smiling.
He is. He asks if there's somebody else, and she basically confirms that and then says that she doesn't really have a reason why. And Trevor said that he had a good speech. So if he would have asked her, and she
Jimmy's
said,
speech sucked.
Jimmy's speech did suck. I want to hear Trevor.
At words, he sucks at emotionally giving himself to people.
Yeah.
And I think he hid behind, I'm stuck between two people, so I don't want to tell someone something I don't mean, but I think he's incapable.
Trevor seems to be a lot more open-minded about things too than Jimmy. So
I think Trevor's just more secure. There's no question that he's a masculine man. And I think because of that, he's able to be more open emotionally. I just think he's the greatest man. He's a national treasure. Somebody better scoop him up real quick because he's just precious. And his questions were killing me. They were killing me. And they were all the questions that everyone thinks in their head when they get broken up with. And he asked them so compassionately, but so directly. It was, why would you choose someone who's questioning you over someone who's sure? And what if I gave you the speech because my speech is really good? Would that change your mind? And then the real knife to the kidneys, if any of our sister watchers are watching.
Man, just the knife in the kidneys.
Was, if I went first, would you have said yes to me? And I feel like she would have.
She didn't even answer. At least
she couldn't answer a single one of those questions. And I'm sure that there was some editing going on there, but I'm sure she didn't have anything worth saying if she said anything.
What really killed me was when he said he tapped his bracelet 100 times.
She wasn't even wearing it.
She wasn't
wearing it. I'm so sad. She is doing the wrong thing.
I definitely believe she is doing the wrong thing. Then we get him telling her that he needs to sit there and cry for a little bit, but if she wants, she can leave. And she does. And that's the end of it with Trevor and Chelsea. Sadly, for now at least.
I'm telling you, I've never been more heartbroken by a love triangle on Love is Blind. This one just has me so sad. Love square, actually. This whole love square has me sad because as much as I had to say in the last episode about Jessica and how she could have done herself a better justice by being open about her kid, this whole love square makes me sad because all of these people deserved better, except for maybe the people who, I don't know, they're good people too. I'm not mad at them.
There's too many what ifs with this. If it went the opposite way, I feel like there would have been maybe a success there. I don't know.
Definitely with Chelsea and Trevor. I don't know so much with Jessica and Jimmy. I still don't know if that was really the right fit for either one of them, but never know.
Then we get to Jeremy telling Sarah that he's going to go with Laura. And he just walked in there and gave it right to her.
He didn't even sit down. He hid behind the couch, but he wasn't really hiding. He was just halfway out already, emotionally,
He
physically.
gives her a lot of compliments, and he tells her that the only reason he can think of that it's not working is their banter can be too much.
I think he means that they don't get serious and emotional enough for him. I don't think he was trying to say that they don't or that they can't or that it's not good, but just that they get a little too wound up with each other because Laura is more calming, where Sarah will feed it right back to you at the same pace. And I could
Yeah.
imagine Sarah and Jeremy having a conversation because we didn't really see a lot of them, but the ones that we did see were very like and it can probably feel like a lot by the end. But I could think of a couple of reasons. I don't think anything is wrong with Sarah at all, but Sarah shared a couple of different things. One, that she talks during sex, which is interesting. Again, none of the stuff is deal breakers. She's a little bit more conservative. She shared her opinions on abortions and things like that. And again, there was no seeing that anyone disagreed or that that was a problem, but I think that there could be reasons maybe that he's not sharing. I do also agree with it could have just been a feeling. At the end is just he had to go with the feeling and he hates that, but I agree it could have just been as much as that. Sometimes that's what love is, a feeling.
Well, apparently Sarah didn't really give too much of a crap. It seemed like it went pretty
This
well.
was a very mature and amicable breakup. I'm not left as heartbroken about this as I just was with Trevor and Chelsea.
He does say that he has feelings for her, but he wouldn't do this again because he's seen a bunch of grown men cry. And I'm like, have you not watched the show?
I know.
And how don't you all know what you're getting into at this point? We're in season 6, so you're not in season 2 or 3. You can't be playing this game no more. No. So Sarah leaves, and Jimmy does tell her that they will see each other again, which I'm like, are you prophesizing the cast party or
I think he was, but it was odd.
we'll see you again? I guess
Yeah.
so. And then Elon goes right into his pod date with Laura where he's proposing using statistics.
And I loved that green dress on Laura. I thought that that dress was beautiful.
She looked good.
She asked Jeremy if she found her baby daddy. He
Yep.
said yeah.
Yep. And she accepts that proposal and takes her pink roses and runs out that room. She is happy as a clam.
She was really happy, and I'm happy for them. I'm excited to see what they do. We didn't really get to see a lot of them.
I feel like a lot of these couples were on standby because of all the triangles going on. They were trying to see what they were going to be able to make out with because they don't want to play with their odds anymore.
Could have even potentially had a sixth couple if Trevor would have had his way.
Exactly. I think that's also why they didn't show Amber's stories because they were maybe running out of time. I'm waiting to see if anybody knows anything about that.
I mean, we complained a little bit in the last episode about how long the pods are going on, but there really is a lot of couples connecting that they probably did have to, like you said, have some backup plans for whatever played out because this whole love square definitely played out until the very end. And so did Jeremy. Jeremy waited until the last day to make his decision too. He just wasn't as crazy about it. And it was just a triangle as opposed to a square.
Although AD and them had a square going on too until Matthew and Amber both left. So then they were just down to 2.
Then they got boring real quick in the pods after that. We only saw one date.
Then we go over to Jimmy and Chelsea, and they're about to do their reveal, but they're talking to us in their confessionals. And he starts talking about how looks weren't really as important to him as they would have been before. And he name drops Jessica was the right one for him instead of Chelsea, and he had to correct himself. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I think this was very telling.
So telling.
So Chelsea looks great. She does not look like Megan Fox, but she looks great.
You can tell she was nervous about her appearance right off the get. She's seeing this other girl too in the pods, and she knows he's going to see her at some point. So when you're comparing, girls like to compare and contrast a lot. It's just in our nature, I think, especially when you're competing for the same person. So I'm sure that she was insecurity.
If you chick chatters didn't hear our episode last time, we both agreed that that whole comparison thing between Chelsea and Jessica probably made Jimmy a lot more enticing to both of them, but mostly to Chelsea.
Right. But now she's over here worried about how she looks because
this is going to create a lot of things. But so the doors open and she runs to him, in her words, like a T-Rex, but I'm not going to disagree with her at all.
Puffing and puffing. She was a huffing and a puffing.
She was.
And it's funny because the first thing Jimmy says to her is, "You're gorgeous. It wouldn't matter anyways, but you're gorgeous." And I'm like, why does he keep saying it wouldn't matter anyways?
I know.
The most signs I can get is somebody being like, "Oh, it doesn't matter anyways," but
I know. Well, this is the couple that we'll find talks the most about looks. At least gets the most airtime about looks.
yeah.
And they both talk about how it doesn't matter, but they're both very preoccupied with their own looks and each other's looks. And you'd think AD and Clay would be preoccupied with because they look good. But again, Jimmy and Chelsea are not ugly people, but they are just average looking people, which is fine. They're both average though. Jimmy is not Clay. No, he's not. And I just say Clay because Clay has a nice body. But again, I don't really know nothing about these.
I feel like Chelsea is a really pretty girl, and I definitely think she's out of his league, but I don't know. I guess it's hard to watch some of this because I'm like, this poor girl, because now she's sitting here questioning and feeling insecure all the time, and this is where it roots from, is this whole reveal.
So, and this is my thing with Chelsea too, is I think she started playing herself from this point on, really from the Megan Fox comment on. But from this point on, because it already starts with this, they start asking each other, "Are you okay? Is this okay? Are you okay?" And it's like, we're going to hear this come out of these two for a long time. And I'm already tired of it.
Jimmy starts it off by telling her that he almost went home this morning, but not because of her. She's the one who kept him here. And I'm like, Jimmy, I don't think you were going to come in here and say this at all. I think if she would have walked out as Megan Fox, you would be saying something totally different.
But I do think that Jimmy has been through it personally in the last couple of days, and he might actually be having a panic attack internally because he just has not expressed a lot of his emotions. And then it's like, boom, he makes a decision, and boom, now we're engaged and we're go. There was no moment to just chill out.
I'm not a fan of elongating these love triangles because you figured it out at the end of a day and now you're supposed to be committed to this person. Didn't even get a couple days to just be with just that.
To just like process mentally, this is now my person. It's just like, boom, now you meet. Everything you assumed is different now. You have to adjust to this person. Like, I just think that solves a lot of disservices and all these assumptions that they made and all kinds of things. But oh yeah, he says he almost left in the morning, and then it cuts to the confessional, and straight away he's like, "She lied. She definitely lied. She doesn't look like Megan Fox." And he's like, "That doesn't matter. I'm still attracted to her. I can work with what she has." I believe him. Again, Chelsea is an attractive person. I believe that he's attracted to her, but I think she just set herself up for this icky comparison with Jessica being in the back of her mind and with this whole Megan Fox thing. She already is insecure, and we'll learn a little bit more about that in, I think, the next episode as to why, but I think she just played into her own insecurities. I don't think Jimmy really did anything ever, but especially at this point, to make her feel insecure. In fact, he has been nothing but reassuring to her that he doesn't care what she looks like, but even if he did, that he thinks she's beautiful.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think he was just felt duped a little bit because obviously she did overplay her looks. But I do believe him when he says that it's not all about that for him. It's just when he keeps repeating that. Are you trying to convince you or me?
I think he's trying to convince him because he thought he had something here, and he has something that's just only here, which isn't bad, but he's trying to figure out what's going on. I think he is trying to talk himself into it because he does think she's beautiful, but he does not think she is a baddie like Megan Fox.
Then this is where we get his face that stays with him for the remainder of these episodes that I've seen, which is the
panic attack face. I'm not having a panic attack. Are you having a panic attack?
We see this on him the rest of the time. I swear this is where it starts.
He does get down on his knee after this whole thing, a little late comparatively to the rest of these meetings, but he does it. I think everything got in his head. I think the Megan Fox comment got in his head. I also think Jessica's comment the night before about looks got in his head and made him really question, what the hell is this girl gonna really look like? So I think it's just a lot for him right now.
I think he's replaying that whole "you're gonna choke" thing, and he's now trying to prep himself for the cast parties going forward.
He's got a lot to prep for. He's not ready.
Speaking of people who are just maybe not ready, We have Jeremy and Laura who are doing their reveal. And I only say that because they just broke off a love triangle that same day, too. I don't believe in that. So they have their reveal, and she is laughing and she's going to pass out. I was like, what? She's just running, laughing. I'm going to pass
He's
out.
so anxious right away to get on his knee. He's like, "We got important business." And she's like, "I'm gonna pass out." He's like, "Not till I get the ring on." What is your obsession with getting the ring on her finger? Because you're gonna be responsible for her now if she passes out. Might as well wait. Let her pass out before, so Love is Blind can take care of her.
Elon's don't got time for that.
He doesn't. He's like, "We have important business to attend to."
She says that she's like, "Oh, you're cute, you're handsome." I don't know. I can't tell whether or not they like each other physically or
I
not.
can't tell either. They definitely are elusive to me a little bit, but they don't look like a. I'm not saying they're not a cute couple, but like, they don't look like, oh, I could see those two together.
Yeah.
They just don't have similarity in vibe, their physical vibe. I guess she looks very. I can't put it into words, but they just don't
Yeah.
look like they would pick each other out at a bar.
It's gonna have to grow on me, that's for sure.
I'm
So
open to it. I'm not mad at it. I just don't know much about it. You learn about Jeremy's big hands and feet. So question marks naturally lead after that.
that proposal was pretty quick, and then we see them all heading to Mexico with some kind of explanation from the Lachey's. And
From
you can tell
Vanessa's areolas.
didn't last time they green screened themselves into Mexico or something, and this year they're just gonna be at the studio.
With Vanessa's whole titties out, telling us they're going on the way to the public.
So dramatic too, their little monologues. I'm like, you guys, it's not that serious anymore. So we're heading to Mexico without the Lachey's, but with the Lachey's in spirit. And Chelsea and Jimmy are already off to a weird start. She keeps asking him if he regrets his decision. It seems like multiple times.
He said he didn't remember what she looked like. I'm thinking he tried to forget what
He
she
blocked
looked
it
like.
out.
And
I heard
again, I
him
think
say
he's
that.
not mad. He just was mad because he felt like he got played.
Sometimes you just want to remember to forget. So they're not off to the greatest start.
They talk openly about Jessica, which
Yeah.
I did think was actually a step in the right direction. I think they're both being really passive with each other in this whole asking, "Are you okay? Do you think you made the right choice? Do you regret your choice?" Like, these are big questions. Let's talk through some of the thoughts that are going on behind these questions.
Yeah.
So I was glad to hear them start to talk openly about the dilemma that they both faced, because they both obviously have feelings about that. And if they can talk through some of that, maybe they can get somewhere. But she gets really offensive is a word, I guess, but she's just really emotionally invested in every word he says instead of allowing him to just say his thought or his piece. So I think it was hard for her to hear all of that. But again, I do think that they should have been speaking openly like they were. But he told her that Jessica brought up looks, and I think she about shit her pants.
I think that's when she started really spiraling off of the whole looks thing.
Correct.
He also said he had a bone to pick with her because she told people what he said to her. So
I want to know where he heard that she ran in screaming, "He loves me." No, I
Probably
think you made
Jessica.
that up in your head after you realized that Jessica figured out that she knew. I think you made this grandiose assumption with your ego about, oh, she must have ran in there all excited. No, she didn't. Don't do that to her.
But she explains that by saying that she told Laura, but she didn't think Laura was going to go tell anybody. Girl, you're in a girls' cafeteria. What do you think is going to happen in this cafeteria?
She's going to
But
tell one
anyways.
person at least. It's unfortunate that it was Laura, because I don't think anyone else would have went and opened their mouth. But I think Laura is a particular type of personality,
Then Jimmy comes for Jessica's problem-solving skills
which is a fact.
because he was upset that he said that ruined her experience and all that, and then he brings up the looks. And man, I was like, this is just a cringy
It was a
conversation.
tough thing for them to all air out, but I think definitely needed to be aired out. Unfortunately, I think Jessica really implanted a ninja bomb into their relationship with that looks comment. And then Jimmy just presented the bomb to Chelsea, and Chelsea is about to detonate it.
Pretty much. She says, well, you're going to be seeing her. And he makes out this, I can wait, but it sounds to me, can't wait.
I don't know what he's thinking. I really don't.
Oh man, this is gonna be a mess. So
We get a couple of other little tiny things, just everyone else seeing each other. Laura tells Jeremy right away that she's not happy with his Hawaiian shirts. And he gets right to acting quirky, and I can't really tell if she's into it or not.
but I don't think Sarah would be either, so I don't know.
Clay and AD have a little sexy hot tub date. Not
Yeah.
much goes on there except for she feeds him grapes in the pool. Also, he reveals that he doesn't know anything about wedding bands or I think anything about marriage in general. I really don't think he was ready or prepared to be married.
No, we don't know nothing. He was taking me out in the next episode with some of the things.
I know. I'm like,
Here.
sir. And then we also get Kenneth and Brittany going to bed, and Kenneth makes a request, which I think is important to note because it seems like things might get rocky for them later. But Kenneth asks to unpack at the end of the night a plethora of things every night.
That's a long list every day. You're gonna forget to do it.
It is. I think they should do a rotation like Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends maybe have some free time. But that's just my thought. And then we do actually hop back over to Chelsea and Jimmy quickly. And she asked him what's the first thing he noticed about her. He said her big square teeth. I don't know.
And he said it like this.
I know. He just wants her to accept it. She did not want to accept it. She tried telling him several times what she would have wanted the answer to be because she kept telling him, I liked your eyes. That's the sweet response. Are you complimenting him or are you like telling him what to tell you? He does assure her for the millionth time that she is beautiful and that he's happy, that he chose her and all these things. And this is where I start to learn about Chelsea, that she will ask him a question and immediately after asking the question, she will answer it in the negative way for him before he can even respond. Literally out loud, not even just in her head. Because I know sometimes people do that in their heads, have this negative perception. But she will ask him, do you think I'm beautiful? No, you don't. And then he'll respond. Like, it's crazy how mean she is to herself. So then that's where it wraps up. They snuggle up into bed. And
Yep. And it seems like a lot of them have a lot of awkward energy going on. So I guess we'll see what happens to them next.
well, it is their first couple hours together. So into the thick of it.
We'll see you in episode 6.